Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, just a short little show with predictions and preparation for Eden Savage. Very similar if you watch Mog Talk to what the show that I was actually on for them on Saturday. It's just going to be Sly and I, mostly because, to be honest, didn't have time to prepare much more for this week. Just going to level with everyone right off the bat. But let's get a quick show out of the way. I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Pogrom. Of course, joining me is Sly, aka Slythefox, aka Slyh, aka Greyfox, aka you, my boy Blue. How you doing? It's just you and I.
I know.
We don't get enough of these weeks.
Yeah, I was about to say we never get enough of these shows, and I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, like we have to put up with Ethys sometimes, like 2 whole weeks in a row.
Right.
No one wants that. It's okay. How you doing?
Good. Been gathering my soul away. About ready to start crafting.
Me too, actually. I mean, ready to start crafting after Tequila is done making all my leaf kits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I can start after they're all 80. Listen, I got 200 mil. I gotta flex it somehow.
Okay.
That's how I'm flexing it, by buying leaf kits from my dear friend.
So how are you going to do your gatherers is the question.
Oh, those I'll do. Those, whatever. I've done those every expansion. Those I enjoy. I actually enjoy leveling those.
Okay.
So the thing is, and then I'll already have all the crafters at 80 to make leaf kit items from the stuff I gather to sell them to make the money back from what I purchased the leaf kits for. Fucking big brain right there. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, before we start the show, there's actually a couple things we actually have to say at the beginning.
Yes.
Of course, thank our sponsor, SteelSeries. They've been sponsoring the show on my channel for years. We do a monthly giveaway that's in the YouTube comment section, or in the YouTube description of the video. There's a Gleam giveaway there. So if you want to win some free stuff, go there, enter. Do it. Even if you're watching on Twitch, just go click the video tomorrow and go grab that link.
Everybody loves free stuff.
Everybody loves free stuff. Everybody does. And, of course, as we mentioned last week, the patrons now have a permanent scrolling spot on the screen. Ooh. We will still thank our patrons of darkness and new patrons later on, but it's not going to be the 3-4 minute read that you're all used to. Sorry for those who actually liked the pog-champing rap god of a patron list readout.
I mean, still pog-champ in chat. We love to see that shit. I do. He doesn't, but I do. So
yeah,
pog-champ all the way.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing is a request I actually hadn't gotten much for the show until recently, but I've gotten it now quite a few times. I guess more people are using the platform or asking to use it, but the show's on Spotify now.
Yeah, boy. We made it.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, made it. You click, can I make a podcast? Yes. And then you post the RSS feed.
We started from the bottom. Now we're here. God damn it, Happy.
No. No. It's not. I'm the one who has to upload it. I'm the one who says if it's started from the bottom, now we're here. If it took more effort, I'd agree. They made it seem like it was going to take more effort. They're like, we have to approve this. And then they literally did nothing to approve it. And it was just there. So I don't know what the hell the point was. But for some reason it says State of the Realm by Dream. I guess because the RSS feed has an author and then Spotify asks for an author. And I filled in both.
Right.
So... yeah, State of the Realm is on Spotify now. So if you use Spotify, if that's your preferred platform, go right ahead and head over there and you'll be good to go.
There you go.
Other than that, the last thing. So I was telling Sly before the show started that, I live in an apartment building and they do unit inspection. That's normal. Anyone who's been in an apartment does that. And I got a notice on Thursday that said it'd be between Monday and Tuesday, that being today, between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. So I'm like, oh, okay, great. That's like, there's plenty of time for that to happen. It's 4:06 p.m. and guess what hasn't happened yet on Tuesday? So Sly might be running the solo show for 5 to 10 minutes at some point.
Hooray!
The good news is just talk to chat for 5 to have them ask you questions, and then you could just, it's like a stream, except that you're waiting for me to come back.
Right.
Exactly. And with that, now I think we're ready to start the show. How's your first week of eating normal been? You getting ready for Savage?
Yeah, I got, what do I have? I have belt, pants, boots, and something else. And an accessory.
Probably a ring?
Yeah.
I'd have to imagine you picked up a ring.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, I'd be pretty surprised if you didn't pick up a ring, Sly.
I have to check.
It's the only piece we could.
I really don't remember. It probably wasn't the ring. If you're saying it like that, it probably wasn't the ring. I think it was the earrings.
There's the only right side we couldn't get 450 of.
Yeah.
This is the care cup. All right. This is the care cup. Just pretend it's empty. There you go. Yeah. So how you feeling about eating normal a week later? Because I know a lot of people I've been talking to, their perspective day by day has kind of changed. When we last talked about it, it was the day of it releasing, and there was just an immediate amount of excitement. Has anything changed for you on that front?
Not really. I mean, my expectations were tempered going into it. Still the same. Like, I still feel like E3 is a big ass fucking dummy. I still feel like E2 will probably be E2 and E4 will probably be the funnest fights, in my opinion.
And that's actually going to be a pretty key topic of the show. So I was on Mog Talk on Saturday, and I was already probably planning this for me the show today. Normally would have had a guest, but I just haven't had the time. Actually, arranging going on a vacation next month at some point.
Ooh.
Just a few days in Vegas with Mel, a few friends, so I can lose some money at the Crystal Machine Tequila wins all the money at.
You're going back to this. Wait.
No, I'm not going back to the Rio, but I'm gonna find the machine in in one of the hotels because I know it's the same.
See, you're fucking up already. It has to be the same fucking machine.
No, it has to be theoretic. It just has to be the same type of machine because that machine was rigged for him. I need to find the one that's rigged for me. All right.
Okay.
That's how it's got to work. So yeah, that's why it's just Sly and I this week. But that's been a big topic with Savage. You're talking about the most interesting fights. But we're going to be talking a little bit about preparing and predictions for Savage. And I think the number one point people have been asking is, do you think we will be fighting the bosses in the order we fought them in normal mode? Now, I'm not sure where the theory came up that they could appear in a different order in the first place began, but it's been a constant.
That sounds like some leak bullshit. I don't know.
No, it's all I've been seeing is people literally since the second it launched. Like within an hour, I had people saying, "Oh, I don't think we're gonna fight these bosses." I think it's because Eden Prime's first, so everyone's like flabbergasted by the thought of it being.
I still think it'll be the same. Honestly, think it'll be the same.
See, Sly, this is why I have you on as a co-host because you're a man. You're a man of sense and culture. Because we had a really long discussion about it on Saturday on Mog Talk. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen that, they're rival podcasts, but they're awesome. So be sure to go watch that episode Saturday with Zeno, myself, and Bok Choy. The Bok Choy of the legendary
Bok Choy,
who doesn't like having credit for that mechanic at all because he says it wasn't his idea. Love it. Yeah, and we had a huge discussion about it on Saturday, and so I figured I'd bring that discussion here because I hadn't gotten your thoughts on it. No, you think it's going to be the same order also?
Pretty much.
Is there? So, do you think it is just the Eden Prime thing? Because I don't know about you. I don't see any reason.
Yeah, that's what's tripping a lot of people up. And again, we talked about this before, like for our first impressions. There is still the possibility that we actually end up fighting Eden Prime in the final tier, in just a different manifestation. There's a possibility of Ultimatia, which I'm.
I thought about this more since last week's Sly, and I'm like, Eden's gonna Ultimatia is gonna junction to Eden. Like Gaia was junction to the Void Scent. That's what I'm thinking is going to be the last one. Not Griever. Everyone's like, oh, Griever. She's got a junction to Griever. Nope. She's going to junction to Eden somehow, or Reen's going to lose control because Reen's pretty much junction to Eden right now.
Right.
In a sense. There you go. So I'm saying I think Eden Prime's still going to be the last boss just in a roundabout way. All the way at 12. So I'm hammering it in. That's my theory. play this back a year from now when we're doing 4.4 predictions and stuff, and getting ready for the next Fan Fest at that point. But that's a whole nother. I'm going back to Vegas, so it's on my mind a little bit. Yeah. Oh, so same order, yeah. I'm in the same boat. I don't see any way to change it. Here's the thing. It's like Titan has to be last. I'll at least say they want us to be triggered by Titan in 6 years in the making. It's been, again, waiting for this moment. And I have so many ideas for things they could do in Titan Savage, which I'm curious to see things you think might be different a little bit later. Oh, now you're thinking about it, aren't you?
I'm kind of curious now as to what you're gonna say.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We gotta go. We gotta do this in order. So both of us subscribe to same order theory. Let us know in the comment section if you think same order, different order. Twitch chat, same order, different order. We're still waiting to find out more about the loot system for Savage too, because wasn't it implied at the media tour that it was gonna be like coffers for like everything instead of just the weapon?
I don't remember that from the media tour.
I remember something being said about more coffers. About, at the very least, I know they said loot that the group didn't need wouldn't drop. Like jobs that weren't present wouldn't have loot.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I also remember something about getting more coffers. I have to, because so many interviews, I can't remember them all.
Like all the information's melded together.
Yeah. Then so there's actually a huge super thread on Reddit that I should have pulled up and double checked that maybe before the show came out. Looks like most of the chat is saying same order. I'm saying most. I don't think I've seen a single person say a different order for that. I don't know. I've been asked a lot this last week, so right. If it happens, you know what? If it happens that way, and I look like an idiot for saying it couldn't happen that way, it wouldn't be the first time, and I'd accept it. But Titan needs to be last. If the reason is people think Eden Prime's going to be last, no, Titan's got to be last.
The question is, okay, he's last. Yay. What's the extra shit?
Yo, you see how big that mountain is? Yo, you know what's one ability he hadn't used on us yet, Sly? Mountain Buster. And you know what? We got plenty of mountain to bust. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think he's going to go like all arcane on us from 15.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to happen. We haven't seen Tumults. He's got voice of the land,
we haven't seen Tumult. I mean, even though you can say a mechanic is similar to a Tumult, but it's just singular.
Yeah, Voice of the Land is that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So on Tuesday, on the 30th, a week from this show's recording, Savage will be releasing. The new Treasure Dungeon will be releasing for those not interested in Savage. Honestly, as someone who's loved Treasure Dungeons, if you're not planning on doing Savage, highly recommend learning about Treasure Maps Dungeon. It's a lot of fun for me. It's a lot of fun with friends and FC.
It's a lot of fun, and it's money.
It is, especially if you get in early. Like,
yes,
there's a lot of undercutting early, but if you're going to make a lot of money, it's going to be early, especially while people are distracted with Savage, because that takes away people who will be actually spending their time.
Exactly. So if you're a static who's going in like later on that evening and you got time to kill and you're on throughout the day, do maps, make money.
Yeah. On top of that, new crafting recipes will be out next week.
Of course they will.
Well, people have been asking when we're going to have Ash on the show, but Ash's literal description of crafting is a macro called
crafting is dead.
Yeah, we can't have him on the show just for that. So we need developments in crafting before we can really have Ash back on the show. And if he's just going to come on and say
a little bit more insight into why, but besides, you know, the fact that it's a one button macro for everything, why crafting is dead. So yeah, like you said, we need to wait on new recipes to see, you know, how much control, how much craftsmanship we need. And if it's really, you know, one button macro for crafted gear and weapons and shit.
Yeah, so this will be our first peek into, and I don't expect this to be any more difficult than 3.2, 3.4. Heck, it might even be easier than those tiers, because as chat just said, I've heard some of the new abilities are strong when it comes to crafting. So yeah, realistically, I don't think that much can be said about crafting outside of there's new recipes until Ishgard. It's not till 5.1. We got a ways to go. It's probably not going to, and honestly, I don't think it'll be in 5.1 proper. I think it'll be in like 0.11, 0.15, something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
Agreed.
One of those in-betweens. But it does mean that if you're someone like me who wants to pick up a full set of crafted gear day one for Eden Savage to replace all the Eden normal gear that I've, for some reason, been taking my time to get, when it'll serve me absolutely no purpose in literally 7 days from now, you can. It'll be the same. It'll almost definitely be the same item level as Eden normal, 450, but pentameldable.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're not much for the pentamelds. You ain't got that kind of gil, Sly.
See, this is why I'm working on this shit.
Did you say that last expansion though? Where's all the money?
You know, there was other shit I was playing. I couldn't.
Yeah. Listen? I've seen September.
I actually just got my crafters to the level where they need to be, like right now. Like I got them to that level today. Like, and like they were all 70, but trash gear. So
I got 3 at 80 so far, thanks Tequila. Anyway, only 5 to go. I've got all these crystalline mean quests that are like, we have a free level for you. Just make some stuff. And I'm like, no. I'll do the gathering ones.
You miss out on the story about nutrition.
Yeah, but now I can make the items at 80 way easier. Well, I mean, they're collectible items, aren't they? So they're not even like that rough. And also, I need to level fishing so I can do all the crystalline mean stuff. And that's the quest. That's the quest about the nutrition. And that, luckily, I can still just hand in items to level. I don't have to do any fishing.
Well, about that.
Well, I do for the crystalline mean. For the crystalline mean, obviously, I have
crystalline mean. Yeah, you like they're item specific. Like you can't sell them. You can't market board them. You have to go.
But leave quests for leveling. Those are turn-ins.
I save that for crafters.
Apparently they aren't collectibles. They're just HQ items. They're just specific to that one. But
still, they're just specific.
They're untradeable and they're untradeable. I remember. I looked at the crystalline mean quests once. And then didn't do them. And then didn't do them. Yeah. Because those 6 turns is one level every other level.
The thing I hated about the crystalline mean, and people are telling me that the crafters are pretty much the same for gatherers. For miner and botany, they shared a facet. I fucking hated it. And I kind of had to like catch up one because I was like, okay, I finished fishing. Because it had its own facet. Let me go ahead and do botany. Work on that. Did turn-ins, did GC turn-ins, custom deliveries, got it a little bit ahead. And then they're like, Sly, you know miners there too, right? What do you mean? Like they share a fucking facet.
Yeah.
So I had to use some leaves to catch miner up. And I kind of did the whole turn in 9 thing for each job. And well, they're all 80 now, so hey.
I'm just gonna do NQ turn-ins. I don't care about the EXP because they're just all gonna be 80.
You'll be 80, so you have no reason to.
I can just save so much effort. I mean, it's not a lot of effort, to be fair.
Right.
It's not exactly an exorbitant amount of effort, but I also don't have to do it.
You don't. You're right.
And more scripts, I don't care. You know what else I can do at 80?
I can about yellow scripts though. You don't mind the yellow scripts, but it is soul sucking in the beginning to go to.
I did scripts in Heavensward and Stormblood, and I did scripts when we needed them to buy favors also. Don't think I ever forgot about favors because now that I was a script machine back in Heavensward especially. Sly, I have luminary tools from 2.0. You think I care about gathering? Do you even know what you need to do to get a luminary tool, Sly?
I'm trying to remember what it was.
You needed to gather, I think it was 13,333 items from each of the A Realm Reborn areas. I can't remember the exact number of items, but you needed it was gather 10 of 1 to 10 items, then gather 100 of 11 to 20, then gather 1,000 I think it was 33,333 total gathering hits or items gathered across the Realm Reborn areas. I have those. If you think I'm gonna be scared of farming some scripts, dude, I fucking Stockholm Syndrome love that shit. All right? I'll do it when the time comes.
You'll be at the mercy of your own alarms.
I don't mind that shit. I'm like, what a useful feature for me to have. So, new recipes next week. That's it. That's all you need to know. New recipes next week. Make me things, and I'll buy them. I don't ask for free shit. I buy them. Tinctures, of course, going to be a big thing. New foods, probably next week as well. Raid foods. So keep an eye out for those. I've already started purchasing tinctures because they're not really that expensive. Don't forget the new pentamelded items from Wondrous Tales will start being there as well. I started redoing my Wondrous Tales. I haven't done them in literally, I've done 11 Wondrous Tales in 4 years. That's 208 weeks that I could have done it. I've done 11.
God, I'm trying to think the last time I actually did Wondrous Tales.
No, there won't be new tinctures. I was saying tinctures now, and there will be new food. I'm just talking about savage stuff that we're going to have. Not to be confusing, because I said it all in one sentence. Right. Yeah, that's why I've been soloing the Heavensward stuff. It's because Wondrous Tales was like, can you do it? And I'm like, can I do it? And the answer is yes. But the big thing, of course, is Savage.
Yes.
Savage is the big thing. So, once again, we've got 4 fights. Now...
4.5.
No, so that's where I was getting to. So, the big thing is in... I think it was my own interview. Don't even remember. I asked if we were still going to be doing door bosses. And they said no. So, no, here's small Titan, beat him in 5 minutes, and then fight real Titan. Now, they said that. Do you think that they actually don't do door? Because the more I think about it, the more I actually don't know if I believe that there won't be door bosses.
When they say that, are they saying, no more checkpoints, no more door bosses, no more checkpoints? Or are they saying door boss, but you don't have a fucking checkpoint? This is ultimate.
Well, that's more like brute justice, with winged justice, or ultimate in a sense. So that's the question. Do you think that even though they said, and I think I should maybe pull up the exact quote because it should be in my own drive, I suppose, but all my windows are closed, so I have to find it. Do you think? Are you confident that it'll actually work out that way? Because I'm not really. I feel like it's still gonna end up being a door boss. I don't know. I guess I just don't think they're going to diverge away from actually doing that. What about you?
I still think, depending on how it's worded, going on in my mind right now, I think it's basically a door boss and we start it. No checkpoint. We still do have a door boss, but it's not a checkpoint. Just start all over. Ultimate. This is Ultimate.
Just pretend it's Ultimate. Although I really don't want door bosses again, and as someone who loves Ultimate, I kind of like that idea. Okay, so let's see. So I asked Savage, extra phases, door bosses. We're not going to say how we are changing things, but we want to do something different, which is another reason why people think they might be in a different order, because that is different. Reasonable tangent to draw. Dev team found that having the forms dragged on your experience with the 4th fight. Even after clearing it, it was tedious to re-clear the content. So, that reasoning alone seems pretty adamant against the idea of having to do that checkpoint every time.
Or they go back the coil where every boss was a door boss and you continued until you got into the last one.
Well, no, that's just how it is now. It's just fight after fight.
No. Remember?
No, that's ADS. You're thinking ADS was people forget. People always say, oh, there's a Faust here. You forget about ADS from turn 1. Okay, he was our original Faust. You show him respect. You silence that high voltage. Okay? You want to talk about a door boss. He was our door boss, but no, Coil otherwise worked exactly the same as it does now. It's instance boss, instance boss, instance boss, instance boss. Only ADS was different. He was like Faust.
True.
So yeah, this like that's what I mean. It's like I feel like the only other comparison is Brute Justice, because he doesn't say they're not going to do it like Brute Justice. He just says it's different. It could be exactly like Brute Justice, but there has to be an extra phase, like Savage exclusive shit somewhere.
Right.
The question's where.
Well, we only have 2 primals.
And I'm wondering if they're both going to get like a Savage exclusive transformation. Because the Leviathan especially, you call them a dummy. He feels like he's the one that feels the most incomplete.
Yeah.
Now, I presented a theory on Mog Talk. So hear me out on this, okay?
Okay.
What if every boss has Savage exclusive phases? Every single one. Now, to be fair, a Savage exclusive phase, we should define that, because I think all bosses have Savage exclusive phases. Like, just to say it only happens in Savage is kind of broad. Yeah. I mean, like, large-scale phase and, like, entirely different encounters that normal could in no way prepare you for. Winged Justice, Neo X-Death, technically, if you want to look at it as such, is a long extension of X-Death, but essentially Winged Justice. You know, like, Voidwalker possesses Illin and kill me. Ugh, Jesus Christ. Think of it, another great example is an extreme exclusive phase. Thornton's entire last phase is extreme exclusive, where he does the eye and he goes around. That's a great example. Shinryu, when he's on the final platform on Extreme. There's actually a lot of great extreme examples to show kind of what I mean. Yeah, stuff like that. Stuff like Shinryu on the platform and Thornton with his... Yeah, all that's... Thank you, chat. That was a great example. So what do you think? That was my theory that I presented.
I mean, they could do it.
But will they?
Did they have enough development time to do that? I don't think they did.
I think they do. I think it depends on how, because, you know, it's one thing, we often ask how they go about developing things like Ultimates. I don't think we ask enough about what goes into the planning and execution for Savage.
You're right.
I can't recall much of... I remember Titan being explained.
We asked these questions so many times, but I don't think they've ever gotten answered. That's the thing.
No, I can't recall a time when we've really asked about, like, what goes into separating, like, do they start with Savage and then pare it down for normal? Do they start with normal and then add things for Savage? You know, because a lot of that will determine, like, just how much time it takes to really go through and do the fights. I feel like they start at Savage and pare it down.
What it is that we ask about, why is this here and why aren't you putting more towards Savage? Those are the questions.
We just ask why we don't have more bosses.
Yeah, why don't we have more bosses than Savage? Yeah.
And that's the rough thing, because while I don't like the door boss, it did effectively give us a 5th Savage fight. Especially, like, you look at MNF. MNF was like a full 8-9 minute. I think it's like an 8.5 minute encounter. Kefka was like a 7.5, 8 minute encounter. Like, yeah, X-Death was only 4 minutes and like 50 seconds, but those are full encounters. Those are not like low effort encounters being made. Those are effectively entire bosses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we now have to pair if they're not going to do a door boss. That leaves a lot of room to take that resource and spread it across all of the fights. Instead of creating one entirely different fight, you have several 2-3 minute sections that belong to each fight, and it doesn't equate to the same amount of effort development wise. I can't imagine that it would, but that's one reason why I kind of lean towards that theory that, you know, Eden might have Giant Eden as more parts of phases. You know, we might see another Fragor Maximus, for example, that works entirely different from that initial ad phase, or Voidwalker, I think, is prime for them to do so many things, and it's probably the fight I'm most interested to see different. So you think it's possible, but that doesn't mean you actually think it's going to happen. So what do you think's actually going to happen?
You know what? I'm going to be slightly optimistic. Slightly.
Well, the fact that you took so much of a delay between saying slightly twice tells me this isn't at all optimistic.
A little bit unrealistic, but I think I want to say that we get an extra fight.
I refuse to believe that. Now, when you say extra fight, do you mean like an actual 5th instance?
actual.
I don't buy that for a fucking second. You know how much story they need to put behind that? There's no way. They just release Ultimate the same day, and it's all 4 bosses at once. The 5th fight's just all 4 bosses at once. Fuck it. Yeah, that's not even, dude. That's you went from slightly optimistic to unrealistic in. That's what
I just said. I'm like, yeah, I tempered it a little. I'm like, okay, this might be a little bit unrealistic, but yeah, it's a possibility.
I see. That's the thing. It's like, effectively, that's what we had last expansion. So equating it to that is not actually that unrealistic. I just don't see them creating anything that would require any, because then people question that kind of stuff lore-wise, canonically speaking. You know, remember when I said fighting Neo X-Death, I felt like the biggest disappointment was that it wasn't canonical?
Right.
I effectively feel the same way.
There was no need, and the thing is, there's no need for it to be, in my opinion. Like, we've separated it to, like, amongst ourselves, we've separated, you know, Savage and Normal. Like, Normal is the story. You know, Savage is just a little bit extra. There's no need to attach story to it. It's just extra.
I will say that I know another reason why I always insert it canonically, like why Neo XF actually being non-canonical actually really bothered me, is that both during Neo XF and God Kefka, Nero is talking to you with brand new text lines as if he was there, but it never happened. Right. He's tearing the very fabrics of the very foundations of creation, or whatever he says every time Neo X-Death casts Almagest. I just like that the minstrelling wanderer in this case is just either the wandering minstrel, whichever one. Actually, with Omega, we didn't use him. We just used the machine. Which is even weirder now that I think about it. It's just, man. I don't know, dude. I think Extra Fight falls into the realm of unrealistic. But at the same time, it is effectively what we had for the last 2 years. So it's not like, it is, but it isn't. I just don't see a whole extra instance being made. That's my thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with brand new phases that are like Winged Justice scale additions. Not necessarily as difficult, but that scale of addition to every encounter, about a 2 or 3 minute phase that's like that, as opposed to what we had the last 2 years. I fully see another Forgor Maximus happening and Big Eden's in the back like Big Alexander was in the back. It's very reminiscent of Big Alexander when you see Big Eden. So I'm hoping it works out like that. Fingers crossed. But now we got to get into every individual fight, because we've been kind of spreading this discussion.
Dancing around it.
Yeah. We've been spreading this discussion like out, I suppose. But we have to start with Eden Prime. The first boss, who will definitely still be the first boss in a week. I'm going to dig my grave and bury myself in it if I'm wrong. But it'll just be that much funnier for everyone. Be like, yeah, fuck you, Happy. It'll be good for them. It's fun for them.
Yeah.
So Eden Prime, I described this on Saturday as what I felt was a blank slate in terms of flexibility. It's literally placed AoE, donut AoE, don't stand in front of me, shit ton of AoEs aimed everywhere, to ads that do nothing and kill me. It's the most straight, like outside of Alt-Roit, it's the most like blank slate fight they could do something with.
But I don't see them doing that much with it. You're right. It is a lot similar to Alt-Roit in terms of, you know, not being that involved.
It is the most basic components a fight could need without really having that much of an identity other than it being Eden. It's not like Chaos where it wasn't really blank slate. It was pretty much defined in normal and then expanded upon in Savage. So I'm wondering where they go with Eden Prime, because I feel like it's the fight they need to step up with second most. I think Leviathan's the biggest step up, but Eden Prime needs to be stepped up from normal to Savage in a more discernible way than the others, I feel. So where are we standing with Eden Savage? What do you think could possibly be different? What could they add? What could they, based on what's already there, adjust going forward? Does the transition stay as long as it is? What if you know what? I actually hadn't even considered this. I don't think the transition is going to be in Savage. I don't think they're going to use Eternal Breath in Savage. Or if they do, it's not going to be the cutscene.
I think they still use it, honestly. Like I've seen no reason not to use it.
That the fact that it's 45 seconds long.
It's 45 seconds, and yeah, I lose BOTD during that. So yeah.
To be fair, if BOTD is also a 30-second cooldown, so just don't have any eyes, and you're fine. Just don't use any jumps.
Just don't use any jumps. Don't use Mirage Dive. Sure.
Maybe it'll work out. Maybe it'll work out. Sly, maybe it'll work out. Life of the Dragon will expire on the last GCD, and then it's like, that's it. You're good.
Right. Besides that, what else? The cross AoE.
When you say cross,
the cross.
Delta attack.
Yeah, Delta attack.
Yeah. This was the first skill that Xeno brought up on Saturday.
We're gonna have to go two apiece there, like 2 each quadrant. That's what I'm thinking.
Like Shiva circles back in the day where you had to separate them. Yeah, that seemed like the most obvious. I think there's going to be tank busters during that too. I don't know that you're going to be able to go 2 apiece because I think there's going to be a Vice and Virtue.
Well, there's space for 2. There are 4 quadrants and there are 8 of us, so naturally, like that's where the math goes. But I don't know how else you can do it.
I have a feeling it's going to be squeezing 4 people into 2 circles and having 2 tank busters aimed at the other ones.
That's tight. That's fucking tight. With the size of the AoEs, I don't think it's possible. Well,
no, it's definitely possible.
It's possible. I've seen it like
4 people really in one of those fucking squares.
I hate when people do that. I'm like, there are 4 quadrants. God damn it.
I love it because I just literally go to the spot I know no pug will go to. I do the same thing on Leviathan. Everyone gets knocked away and goes to like when it splits in half or when it splits like, the 7-10 split. Everyone always gets knocked towards the one on the other side. So like 7 or 8 people are there. I just arm's length and stay on the other side. And I'm like, wow, it's so lovely over here.
Yep.
It's great. But Delta attack seems like one of the... It's an attack that actually is very straightforward in the other situations it's used. And I'm very surprised to see it again. Because we saw a lot of Delta attack last expansion.
Yeah, we did.
Like Fire 3, Thunder 3, Blizzard 3 were probably the 3 most used raid mechanics last expansion. And then combining them in some way. And to see it again, I'm like, I don't know if I want this. But it's already here. So you can't avoid it. Yeah, I think it's going to be 2 tank busters, and then you have to squeeze in the other 4 people. I actually wouldn't be surprised. I think almost every time that Eden casts Vice and Virtue, so Vice and Virtue is the name that's used for the double tank buster, the lasers, and for the gravity AoEs that get placed by the DPS. It's the same name. And the first one is like Vice of Apathy, and the second one is like Vice of something else. So... I have a feeling every time Eden casts Vice and Virtue, the DPS are just going to get hit by those. I don't even think they're going to give them AoE markers. I think they're just going to hit the DPS with them, so they have to be in spot. So you have to really make sure you don't screw people here. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is going to happen with this Vice and Virtue combining every time the boss uses it. But the big thing that was brought to my attention today is the room-wide AoE, Eden's Gravity. Now for us, it just looks like a room-wide AoE when you're not really thinking about it. It's a gravity though. So what does that say, Sly? What does gravity do? What does gravity magic usually do?
Sides do damage. Are you thinking of what? God damn
it. Sly, you've played Final Fantasy games. What does gravity magic usually do? Like damage wise, how is its damage calculated? Max HP. It's percentage damage of your max HP. Or current in some cases. Eden's Gravity always does...
Why did I never pay attention to that?
I don't know. Well, to be fair, in Eden, I didn't pay attention to it in Eden. It happens...
Yeah, I never paid attention to that.
Yeah, Eden's Gravity does 75% of your max HP in damage. Exactly. So if you have less than 75%, you die. So that either is just going to get spammed with another room-wide AoE, or that's going to place... Like, I immediately... Anytime I think max HP mechanics... Yeah, I think of like debuffs that lower max HP that like wear off right before it hits. So like I wouldn't be surprised to see if you get a debuff that lowers max HP and then it wears off mid Eden's Gravity cast.
Kind of like the debuff you get in E2, if you miss a puddle, and it increases damage.
No, it decreases max HP. Is what I always think. And or you just have other AoEs being spammed at the same time, or like back and forth, like AoE hits gravity, so you have this like small window where you have a minimum HP percentage to actually do. Superation is like a max HP reduction. So that's one thing. That's something I hadn't considered until it was brought to my attention today, that it is indeed gravity and does max HP damage. So I'm curious to see if that changes at all. Spear of Paradise, the tank buster, is something I expect to get way more deadly.
For everybody or just the tank?
For the tanks, I think it's gonna have a tank swap involved, because so you can actually swap mid Spear of Paradise now, if I'm not mistaken. Where you can take one tank take the first hit, the other tank take the second hit. Mm-hmm. And so the first hit applying a vuln and the second hit killing, for example, would be a very basic, tank swap mechanic to be added in there. But that's actually the big thing. Tanks, I need to see some shit happening, because all these fights effectively don't make the tanks do dick, which isn't that unusual for normal mode, but it's
for normal, yeah.
But it's still like staggeringly low. Like at the very least, like even fucking Titan's tank death thing, Stone Crusher, does effectively completely nothing. Like it does something, like an increase, it gives you the vuln up, but it's pathetic. So that's how I'm feeling right there. So and then I think the ad phase is another obvious one for Eden. That ad phase, I don't think there's going to be two Fausts that cleave and do an AoE, and that's going to be it.
They don't get a tether.
No, they don't. They're definitely going to, if the ads are still
present. They're going to, yeah.
See, because I'm subscribing to the theory that we're not even going to get Eternal Breath, or that Eternal Breath is not going to have the insane animation. It's just going to hit the arena. So,
is there a timer on ads?
45 seconds. It's the only DPS check, like hard and rage check, in all of normal.
I've never seen it, so
we had to sit there and do nothing to see it. And then we timed it. It was about 45 seconds for them to kill everyone, essentially. Big thing in Eden Savage for me, knockbacks. The wall is death. Why is the wall death there when there's no knockbacks?
True. Very true.
Don't you love death walls? Have you jumped into that one yet?
I sure have.
Was it a backflip? Is a backflip?
No. It wasn't even a jump. I did Fat Finger elusive one time and jump, but no, the first time it happened, like it was one where I was trying to like just get back as far as possible. Like this is the first day, and I'm like, oh, they're like, yeah, that kills you. Everybody in chat's like, yeah, that kills you. Don't touch the wall.
I sashayed away with my dancer, and I double tapped it right into the fucking wall. Yeah, I have a feeling. The arena is something that's kind of interesting there, because I'd like to see Eden mess around with the arena a little bit more. I feel like the arenas in 3 and 4 and even 2 are a little more interesting. Eden 1's just like, here's a square with a death wall. Maybe there's ice on the ground at some point.
That is alt-roity.
Alt-roity? I don't like that term one bit. Alt-roity?
That's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, but I don't like anything being compared to alt-roid, even if I have to do it from time to time, because it just makes me depressed that alt-roid exists. Alt-roid is the only Savage boss that, on release, was killed in a single pull.
I think we killed it in 2 pulls?
I'm talking about the first group to go in there. Like the world first group literally went in and killed him in one pull. Like the one of the competing groups. Just like, all right, yeah, great. Oh, we won. Cool. Fuck was that shit? Effectively what happened. So yeah, there's that. Sorry, alt-right. Eden Prime's got a lot of potential to be different.
It does.
You know what fight's got up? What happened?
I think it will, though. I honestly think it will.
You know what fight's got, I think, the most potential? E2.
Yeah, boy, I am looking forward to it.
Reason number 2. No, what was that? Time. Compression with a K. Yeah. So I think this is reason number 2 why people think they'll be ordered differently. People like that fight. People like to fight Voidwalker a lot more than they like Leviathan on normal. And by like, I mean hate and like.
Don't say.
Time. What happened?
You don't say.
No, I don't say. Sly, why? Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I'd prefer E2 over Leviathan, yeah.
I feel like a lot of people do. I think that's reasonable based on the normal mode. Yeah. So that's reason number 2 why people think they'll be out of order, because they just want Voidwalker to be harder than Leviathan. And I think this fight, I'm afraid to do that in the Party Finder. Like, preemptively, not ready to do it in the Party Finder. Because I don't trust people to I don't trust people to remember anything.
Well, in normal, we get, like, whenever you have spell and waiting, you have the debuff, so it's not easy to lose track of.
Yeah. But that doesn't stop people from losing track. It's easy. It's not easy for smart people to lose track of it. That's chat saying. But this is Party Finder, where all expectation must be thrown out the window.
Fuck. Hold on one second. Entertain. I have somebody at the door.
See, how did it work out that he's got someone at the door?
I don't know.
Well, he could hear me. I didn't realize that. He took his headset off. So now what happens if they knock on my door, right? Inspection. Oh, shit. All right. Well, whatever. So E2, I think, has a lot of room, and we'll continue this conversation when Sly actually gets back put on Aloha. I don't know where he is. I think he's sleeping in the other room. I think with E2, the time shenanigans, I feel like we're just going to get I think the 3 time mechanics that we had, and I'll repeat this when Sly comes back, are going to be a good bit different. Or not even different, but we're going to have a lot more of them. There's a lot of other AoEs that you can use, and Leviathan itself proves that. Between donut AoEs, knockback AoEs, there's all sorts of things that could happen with that one. And with such a long arena, I feel like making use of the long arena is going to be more to that than just Void Scent that come out in a line and move outward. I also think there's probably going to be more Doom Void AoEs. I also wouldn't be surprised to see the donut one either have more Void Scent that are closing in, or have them actually pass all the way through Voidwalker and come out the other way. But oh man, Voidwalker is going to be a hell of a time. Luckily, Sly's back, so we could just continue that. All right, Sly.
Okay.
I was going to say, if someone knocks on my door now, we're fucked while you were gone. Yeah, so I was just briefly talking about the big thing I think people are expecting to go really sideways on E2 Savage is Spell and Waiting.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of spells across that fight. And there's a lot of... If you consider the number of things... So, you have to consider every single ability Voidwalker has for Spell and Waiting. Every single one. I would not put them past Erebos having his knockback timed, the AoEs from the boss being timed, adding new timed AoEs.
I don't know about Erebos.
I don't think they will, but I wouldn't put it past them. I think that's more I'm not ruling out the timed knockbacks and stuff. I don't think Erebus is going to have an on the ground AoE indicators either. That's another thing we didn't even talk about.
With Erebus, I think we're going to have to position ourselves for Erebus for puddles.
Yeah, so it's weird because he knocks you a pretty set distance. So either all the puddles need to be along the side, and needs to be 8 of them all being knocked back into, which
I think we only get 4.
I think if it's Savage, otherwise if you just need to be either that or it's 4 and you need 2 people in each of them. So it's like no matter what, the Erebus knockbacks are going to be vital. There's either going to be Void Scent, other AoEs, puddles. It could be any of the mechanics that already exist. Knockback spreads. For example, if you have Hand of Erebus 4 spread markers and a stack marker, and all 5 of those are going off at the same time, you all need to be knocked back into your effective groups, kind of like Chaos in the Earth phase, where you need to be knocked back into 4 groups of 2. Yeah. So there's a lot of room. That's why I think people are really invested in Voidwalkers, because it's just more timed mechanics have always been relatively interesting. Alexander was, a lot of people's favorites when it comes back to that. And then we've had a double dose of that in this expansion with Tycoon. See, even you're smiling about Tycoon. Like, people just like time mechanics that make you store something in your brain and keep it in mind for later. Except with Guardian, because his shit was completely predictable. The irony in that, because Guardian technically used a timed mechanic, it was just pointless because it was it didn't actually require any forethought. They required one notice and then being like, oh, well, now I know in 3 minutes I'll have to do this. So, see you later. But I can't be fucking asked to remember what I had for breakfast, so, that can always cause problems at times. God, I want this one the most. This is the one I shouldn't say that, because the shit I think is going to happen in some of the other ones is, oh boy. Oh boy, my predictions for the other ones. But playing to the theory that I had about Savage exclusive phases.
Mm-hmm.
How would that work for Voidwalker? Is Erebus going to come through that portal and really give us a fucking hard time?
So we take down Voidwalker and then have to fight Erebus itself.
Yeah, for just, again, I'm saying these phases don't last longer than 3. Like, I'm saying 3-minute long phases, effectively. 2 to 3 minute long phases that are spectacles to look at, essentially.
The only way I can see that is DPSing Erebus's hands.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see having to kill the hands of Erebus.
Yeah, like it either like kill a hand, kill both hands, or get thrown off, kind of thing.
Sephiroth hands just fucking with us the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be pretty interesting to have mini DPS checks on those hands, and like their knockback distance is determined by their remaining health. So if you don't get them below a certain amount, it knocks you off, and then the lower you get it, the less you get knocked back.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll do anything like that. It's just when you mentioned DPSing the hands, it kind of added to that. Chat brings up something else is, other than Eden, there were no ad phases in any of the other encounters, and the ad phase in Eden is not even taught. It's dumb. That's it. It's dumb. That's all there is to it. So, do we think that we get any ads here in any sense? There's a lot of Void Scent flying around.
No. Yeah, there's Void Scent, but they just give debuffs, and that's it. I don't think they'll. I mean, again, you brought up the puddles. Maybe we get a Void Scent for missing a puddle, but at the same time, we already get a debuff for missing a puddle anyway.
Yeah, I think that debuff will be enough. I've actually played with another theory we talked about on Saturday, in regards to the way the debuff from that. So the debuff from that puddle is a stacking debuff that is effectively the same thing as a Volnup. It increases the damage you take.
Yeah.
What if in Savage that debuff doesn't go away? Which means you can't just have people grab like, oh, these people just grab the nearest tether or whatever, or make sure. You'd need to be arranging who gets the first set of puddles, who gets the second set of puddles.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that happening.
I wonder if there'll be a tank puddle, like exclusively a tank puddle as well.
Usually puddles are just an individual, like whoever's.
We've had tank. Let's. I guess let's not call them puddles. Let's call them meteor markers, because they are effectively the same as a meteor marker, where you have to stand in them before they expire. We've had those. I mean, going all the way back to Chrysalis. All of the meteors in the Chrysalis, as slow as they are all tank meteors. Like, you're not supposed to get hit by them. Of that. In that encounter, if you're not a tank. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see tank exclusive meteor markers here. Again, there's just not anything. This fight, even less is happening. Shadow Flame is just like pew, and then like the tanks lose health, like both at the same time. I don't understand. It's a really weird tank buster, and it's the only one. There's not even a single target tank buster in E2 normal. Something's got to change with E2. Like, above all the rest of them, E2 normal needs, like, some real tank shit to be happening.
Yeah.
So, there's so many things. Like what? Oh, God. I have so much fun talking about predictions for Savage. It's there's so many possibilities. Next time next time that I ever go to Japan, I'm gonna be like, hey, listen, can I just talk to the developers that work on Savage so I could just like shoot random shit at them? Mel will be like, you want to go to vacation? I want to talk to the devs. Vacation. Huh? Yeah. Devs. Yeah, sure. Absolutely, babe. Absolutely that.
And we haven't even mentioned the petrification yet.
Oh my God, I don't even like doing that shit in normal mode. People just don't. It's just every week tanks get hit by every week.
I have not had in any of my runs of E2, I have not had one person get hit by petrification.
I have had every run at least 2 people get hit by it. It's like it's just people see the eye. Here's the thing, the eye always means look away. It's not even a matter of petrification, but people just don't know that it's there for whatever reason. Like they don't look at the boss cast bar, they don't see who has. I don't know. People don't.
I mean, to me, it's just like it. I don't see it giving a lot of people trouble because it's just like Neo X Death.
Sly, that's like 8% of the population that's done Neo X. And this is the second fight, so more people have generally done the second fight than the fourth. I wouldn't be surprised to see 4 people get the petrify, and then they all need to be not only looking away from each other. Like that would effectively be like a diamond pattern, and you have 4 people on the outside and everyone else is in the middle, and you just make sure you're. Oh, actually, no, that wouldn't work either. You'd have to be in between. So more than one eye at the same time, effectively, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So I don't know, whatever they do. Oh no, what I just said would still make sense. It's just the people dodging it would need to be on the outside looking out, and all 4 people with the eyes would also need to be on the inside looking out. There you go. Because you couldn't stack in the middle, because then you'd be looking at one of the 4 eyes for the other people. So, oh God, I need this fight, Sly. I could go. I think there's a million things I could do with Voidwalker, and I also have to temper myself because it's only the second fight.
Yep.
And it will be the second fight.
It will be.
I believe. And then we come to the third fight. My boy Leviathan with his dank remix. So I've been preventing to use Savage exclusive phases this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Any new songs, you think? Now that we're getting into primals and I'm thinking of songs, like with Force Your Way, you know, what if we get in those extra phases, Man with the Machine Gun starts playing? All right.
Calm down. Let's wait until second tier before we get Man with the Machine Gun.
But I don't want to wait because that involves waiting. I know. Real problem I got there, but it's effectively why I don't want to wait. So do you think you don't think we get any, I guess, I'm not even saying new songs, but like continued remixes of existing, like maybe, again, either a remastered version of an old song like from Final Fantasy VIII, or an even more dank remix of like Leviathan and Titan's theme?
How can you go more dank than what it is?
I didn't know you could get this dank in the first place, so who am I to judge?
I mean, he had to. I mean, this is a different version of Leviathan. He had to.
But it's so dank. He can get danker. The twinning is the ultimate example of more dank.
That's true.
Yeah. Just look at that fight. Just look at that entire dungeon, I mean. That's literally the definition of dank. It's not at all, by the way. Don't go to the dictionary. The twinning will not be in the dictionary. Maybe Urban Dictionary now if someone adds it, but sorry, I had to finish the last of the peanut butter shake. So the third fight, your dummy fight.
Mm-hmm.
How does that become an undummy fight for you?
You have to do a fucking lot to make that interesting. I'm sorry, and I don't know how. I mean, I know a few ways.
Okay, give me a few ways.
One, Undersea Quake isn't a set pattern. You make Undersea Quake a baitable thing.
I don't know if the arena is going to be built that way. So I actually think that would be really fucking cool.
Think they're changing the arena?
No, that's what I'm saying. The arena is not built the way you just described it. Unless you're, oh, no. You're saying that if people are standing in a section, like the tanks, for example, or two marked players, that the heads will go there and that would shape the arena. Like, because it's still, you're saying it would still break into the 4 long strips like it does now. Okay. I would actually really like that. I think that would at least be a little. So
depending on where somebody's standing, a head would like it would have to be like basically a line AoE like it is, and wherever that person is, you fuck up. You're gonna like you can't jump it like you.
You can sure try.
You can try. You better hope you're good at jump puzzles, but yeah, if you fuck that up, and I don't think it rebuilds. Like in Eden Normal, how Reen has Eden rebuild the platform. I don't think the platform rebuilds.
See, I'm on the opposite boat as you. I actually think we're going to see Eden rebuilding the platform in the 4th fight. And I think the 4th fight, the arena is going to start falling apart, and Eden's going to rebuild it. I'm the other way. I think they're going to do it more. I don't think it's going to be like Shinryu where the arena is gone. I think at some point, I think it's possible at some point the arena's like, it'll be like Eden's power is exhausted, blah, blah, blah. So like after a certain number of times, the arena cannot be rebuilt. And then the enrage would effectively be when Eden's out of power and can't rebuild the arena and all the arena is destroyed. So like that's possible. I hadn't thought of that. That would actually be pretty cool if they built in the destruction of the arena somehow to the enrage.
One thing we haven't mentioned, we haven't seen it in normal, so there's no possible reason we would see it here.
Okay.
Like, there's no possible reason unless they give us one. Duty action.
I really hope. I'm so glad we didn't have any of those. No ATEs and no duty actions. I'm so glad they kept that. Have we seen a single duty action? I don't think we have a single duty action as expansion. In the story. That doesn't count.
Yeah, in MSQ, but that's it.
Yeah. Thank God. They learned from Lakshmi and Catastrophe. I'm so down to not have those be a part of fucking Savage. I don't want them. Like, and you know what? People are saying if anyone's going to happen, it's going to be Leviathan because people are thinking the fucking boat and the shield from the boat that we put up during Tidal Wave back in A Realm Reborn. I'm like, no, I don't want the Elemental Converter back. And I don't want it. If I get the Elemental Converter back, I definitely don't want it to be a fucking duty action. So, for fuck's sake, Sly.
Everybody gets a personal Elemental Converter.
I mean, they can make it more interesting, but I also don't want duty actions. I'm so glad they're not just hamming them in to the fight so far.
I agree with you.
So we'll stick to them, use them in the main story, exploration content. I'm glad they've kept them out of all the non-story, like non-solo story instances so far.
Mm.
So no, Sly, I don't think it's going to happen, to answer your question.
All right.
So you think the arena having a more permanent breaking aspect to it, also the arena split being directly baitable. Okay, anything else?
Hmm.
Well, why don't I break down some individual things for you?
Okay,
room-wide AoE, no one gives a shit. Tank Buster. Hits the main tank, and then that's it. It's that little marker.
The Rip Current, yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be two of those at once.
Yeah.
That's an obvious one. You already mentioned the arena splitting.
Drenching Pulses.
I think Drenching Pulse is going to be like Sluice from A3. Where it was like people all have their targeted ones and their baited ones, but the baited ones are. I think it's. Oh no. Southern Cross in Zervin, where when it finishes casting, the spot you were just standing gets hit. So it's effectively everyone stacks, everyone spreads. the 8 pattern, but without AoE markers.
Right.
Is what I think is going to happen with Drenching Pulse. And I think Crushing Pulse is going to be very much the same, except it's the stack marker afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Crushing Drenching Pulse where it's like ordered, kind of like timed in a sense, like with Voidwalker.
Now, what other mechanic was there?
Maelstrom, the dive bombs is a nice, easy one to look at. I think that's going to be a lot busier.
You think? Well, I was thinking that you would get 2 dives and you had to figure out where to go, but it's kind of hard to split Leviathan because his heads are like really close together.
I mean, unless he splits. That's a savage thing. I mean, that's actually a big thing. A lot of people are subscribing to Leviathan splitting into 2 serpents. I very much agree with that assessment. That is definitely something I think is going to happen.
So, like 2 sets of undersea quakes.
Well, I mean, we already have 2 sets essentially. One comes from each head.
Sure. Well,
what I'm thinking more so is that they don't have to, because Leviathan's north the whole time in normal. I think when the heads split, they can go east, west, south. And if they do undersea quake, instead of breaking just like these 2 or these 2, it could be like this, like the Smash Brothers symbol.
Yeah.
I don't know why I use that for a perpendicular like for a perpendicular intersection. I just like using the Smash Brothers symbol.
Right. Another thing I was thinking about was the surging tsunami, which is the arrows. When the
knockback, you mean?
Yeah.
Nothing in Tsunami is going to have an AoE marker. It's all going to be timed debuffs.
But you get 2 of those.
But you already have 2 of them. You mean 2 at once?
2 at once, yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of weird, because if you had someone front and back, you would just push each other in. They'd have to be timed.
That would be the point. That would have to be the point. Like, you would have to coincide with a knockback to where you would have to position yourself for the knockback, and then the personal knockbacks from each of the 2 would settle after like the really big, like a tidal wave of some sort. So you would tidal wave and then.
Oh, that would be fucking funny if you have. So I think Tsunami is going to get used a lot in Savage, but now the way you just said it, so you get knocked back from tidal wave, but then the person with the knockback has to be like in the spot, because they can't, if they knock you further to the right, or if they're in the middle of the group, that fucks you. So they have to be in the front and they have to knock you back. But if they knock you back, if there's an AoE back there, then you're dead. So then they have to know whether they have to knock you forward or back. And arm's length will be completely not usable during this. I think arm's length they're gonna cut use of that. Like they're gonna make shit go right through arm's length a bunch. I have a feeling.
Well, they already do kind of. But
no, most everything arm's length can do. Almost everything.
Like E4 arm's length is really finicky.
And you have to use it pretty early, and there's a lot of knockbacks.
You have to use it really fucking early, because if you try like. You think you use it early enough, and it seems like you have enough time before Titan jumps, and it seems like it just doesn't work. So
that actually, funny you mentioned that. On Leviathan does the same thing. By the way, the AoE marker on Leviathan, the diagonal AoE that knocks back, that marker is going to be gone. You're just going to have to watch his head and the.
You have to watch the heads. Yeah.
You can that actually is a knockback. That's what kills. It does a shit ton of damage, but a tank can actually tank privilege through it with arm's length and not lose uptime there. Don't do it if you're not a tank, but if you're a tank, you can arm's length the Leviathan diagonal AoE if it's making you run out of melee range for any reason. So it's funny you mentioned that, but because it's finicky for that too. Because I've seen tanks that like use it, but the AoE is like decided it's too late, like earlier than usual. I'm saying, I guess, is the way to put it. So, yeah, I don't think arm's length's going to work on most of these things that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting out of the habit, even though, like, I instinctively do it, but I know it's not going to work. It kind of saddens me.
You'll be all right. You'll be okay, Sly.
Yeah, so, we pretty much covered most of what he already has, but
dude, Tsunami is going to be a monster inside. I think he's got a shit ton of mechanics we outright haven't seen, like just straight up skills he's not using.
Right.
I Again, I think he's going to split into two, and I think Maelstrom's going to be much bigger. I think you're going to have Tsunami during Maelstrom, where he's doing the dive bombs with the puddles growing. I think you're going to have it when the arena's split, which means the knockbacks are a lot worse when the entire middle of the arena has been cut out. Again, I think there's going to be new break patterns like XY quakes that like change the arena shape in a much different way. It'd be pretty fucking funny if it was literally a Smash Brothers symbol and you had that one square in the corner and you need to have the knockback person on the square, but everyone else needs to be on the large square on the opposite, with like the gap in between, and they get knocked from here to here. That would be so fucking weird. That one person's just on a platform by themselves like, guys, you doing okay? You good? All right. I don't know why I'm stabbing like this. Listen, I'm the devil when it comes to mechanics. You give me enough time and I'll destroy your soul. All right? So, all I'm saying. Yeah, double rip current. Again, there has to be more tank stuff. That's the big thing. There's really only rip current in normal. I expect tanks to have the biggest change. And also, debuffs outside of Tsunami and debuffs that already exist, we haven't even considered like new debuffs from any of these skills.
Right.
Like I said, in Eden's Gravity, you mentioned an HP debuff as a potential thing. Like, not only does it reduce your max HP, but it actually reduces your max. It doesn't just do damage based on max HP, it actually reduces it. So, you had mentioned that earlier. That would be fucking scary.
Did we even talk about the donut AoE?
On which one? On Eden?
On Leviathan.
Oh, you mean the one during Tsunami? It'll be there. They're all going to have no AoE markers.
It won't be marked. It will be marked, but the person will be marked, but it like you won't see it.
Like Chaos. Chaos effectively already has this with all of his
markers. That was what I was thinking, like a la Chaos.
Yeah. So I expect that there's a lot of things we're not considering with the way their Savage fights are going to be designed. Debuffs, I think, is going to be the biggest thing to throw a loop. And Leviathan, I think, is going to be like fucking full of them.
Yeah, because like normal doesn't have any. I don't think hardly.
Well, Leviathan, all of Tsunami is a giant debuff check.
I mean, you get Dropsy. That's it. From
no. Well, I'm talking about, and you also get the slime. I'm just talking about dots. I'm talking about like the knockback and the timed skills. Like those are all debuffs, effectively. All those like the way the spell and waitings work and Tsunami, and yeah, there's the Dropsies too, which again I have a feeling that's going to be a lot more threatening and savage. I think that goes without saying, but
yeah,
I just tanks are the ones I need to see change most, like in terms of adding new things for them to do, because this, I'm sure it's not the easiest normal. I'm sure most of the normals, if I go back and remember them, like it's like you could do one tank and laugh at it the whole time. But I feel it more than ever that it needs to be tested because they have these 25-second, all the tanks have these like 25-second tank cooldowns now that they can use on themselves or on somebody else. And they have, their other buffs have generally been streamlined to some degree. There's still reprisals. So more things have to be happening for the tanks. And I really hope they do.
Right.
A topic we kind of, oh, hi, Aloha. So a topic I didn't even realize he was there. He's just chilling, like, you can't even see him from your angle, but he's literally sleeping with his banana right behind me. This is catnip banana. We kind of hadn't even been talking about one of the biggest topics. If I could refer back to my interview with Mr. Yoshi P, we do feel healers are lukewarm right now, and they aren't encouraged to heal much. We don't want them to not deal damage, but we want healers to be actual healers. That hasn't happened yet. I'm going to let you know right now, that hasn't happened yet.
We'll get it in Savage, I think.
But that's the thing. I haven't really had much discussion with people because I think people had just kind of accepted that it's still the way it was before, but healers have 3 DPS spells in total, sometimes only 2.
But there's a lot more damage going on in Savage, so they have a reason to fucking heal.
Yeah, I think that's why that's the biggest question. Do we see this again? Though they told me to be very careful in presenting this, because while they said that yes, they absolutely want healers to have to heal more, that they also didn't want to scare people, because I think they have to consider the average skill level of who's approaching what type of content. So when they design a dungeon and they design a normal mode, like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, those AoEs definitely feel like they hit a little harder than AoEs in previous like 8-mans, but they're not any more frequent. So if they are going to execute on this proposed idea that healers should be able to deal damage as long as they have spare MP and aren't healing, but should still be made to heal more, do you think that it will actually come to fruition, not just that it could in Savage?
I think it will. Like, the frequency at which a lot of healers have to heal is something that we see, like, certain mechanics back to back, and being ready on those heals, like, that's something we're used to in Savage. So I knew we were going to be fine in Savage. I still think we are going to be fine in terms of challenging healers.
Dude, you know what probably is the single hardest thing to heal? And it's not even hard to heal, but it's probably the most frequent amount of damage that goes out in all the expansions so far. It's not Innocence EX, it's not Titania, it's not Eden. It's the first fucking boss in the Twinning who does 4-line AoEs, a room-wide AoE, 4 targeted AoEs, then a split damage AoE, then goes and does that shit in a loop. He's probably the only boss I've seen that makes me think this is probably what they were going for.
Yeah.
That first fucking boss, very underappreciated how much he actually goes out of his way to try to ruin your life. Even if it is still just a dungeon, that's not going to really push you to the edges of that. I just want to see what their design looks like and if this ideal actually fits into it. But otherwise, no, I think it's just going to be the same.
Yeah.
Or maybe more infirmities. We did see infirmity in E2.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Healers need to heal. Say it with me. Earthen Fury. Yeah, so speaking of which, we've covered Leviathan.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got Daddy.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Titan. So I'm going to ask you the most important question.
Mm-hmm.
Is the car mount from Savage?
Fuck yes it is. If it's not, we riot. What the fuck are we here for then?
I agree.
So, we got our first real big debate in normal. Do we get debated more?
Oh yeah. And I think it's not even just debated. I think we'll see shit we recognize, but the way it's going to happen is going to be way more fucked. So what I mean by that is, first of all, I think the arena is actually going to fall apart.
A la Shinryu?
A la Shinryu. If not a la Shinryu, a la Leviathan, where Eden brings it back after a set time.
Okay.
And I think it's more likely Eden brings the arena back as time goes on. You just have to do mechanics based on parts of the arena that are actually broken. There are so many Titan mechanics that I need to see that haven't been seen yet. We haven't seen jailers. We haven't had to kill a bomb. We've only had to dodge them. We haven't had puddles. We haven't had Mountain Buster. We haven't had tumults. And listen, if this is supposed to be my fucking memory, I'm expecting to see all that shit. So I expect jails, Mountain Busters, maybe not tumults, maybe just more Voice of the Lands. And I expect to see a lot more ATV action. And I expect another transformation from the jump into like massive landslide in the ATV.
Do you expect the heart?
You know, I didn't at first.
Mm-hmm.
But if we get Archean Titan, which is my early dubbing for a giant Titan, which I think we'll see, I wouldn't be surprised to have to kill that thing's heart to hurt him. Heart of Stone. Gunbreakers. There you go. So Yeah, maybe. I don't think that's really that important for remembering Titan. Like, it's not a core aspect of what I remember.
It was an integral part of it, though.
It was a phase, but it's like, when I think back to Titan, I don't ever think of the heart. It's just kind of like a phase that passes by, where you keep fighting Titan as he is. And, I gotta say, big respect back to a Realm Reborn era phases where we didn't get jumps in the ad phase into boss super attack into boss coming back. We got ad phases, like we got a heart, we got nails, but the boss was always a very real part of the entire thing. Leviathan was still attacking you during his spumes. Titan was effectively the same during his heart phase. The arena shrunk a little bit, which again is one reason why I think the arena will be destroyed. I think we don't give enough credit to the fact that ad phases weren't just boss jumps away, makes you kill a bunch of ads, then comes back. Ramu summons the ads and they channel into him. Like, they all were the boss didn't make themselves separate from their own ad phase back then. And I hope maybe if they decide to do stuff like that again with these fights, and then maybe why these fights are the way that they are, why they don't have these ad phases jumping away and shit, because we're remembering them as such. We didn't have them that way back then. So I gotta throw some respect out there for that. So with that alone, I mean, maybe we do see the hearts and stuff like that. Maybe. I guess that started with Heaven's Word, I guess, didn't it? Ravana, no, Bismarck did that, but Bismarck was a fucking dumbass anyway. Ravana stayed during his ad phase. Thornton jumped away. I think from Thornton on, we had like boss jumps away. Yeah. Yeah, damn. I didn't even think about it. It's been a while since I feel like I'm probably misremembering, but we probably have had the boss stick around and I just don't remember it. It's just, I guess Byakko? No, we don't talk about Byakko's intermission. It's not an ad phase. That's just, that's just, yeah. I mean, he's got the tiger phase, but like otherwise just fucking never again with the Byakko intermission, please.
It's just near.
Oh, Suzaku technically summons the ads, but that's like, that ad phase is
she's
10
still
seconds into the fight. Man, there's so many things they could do. You know what I want to see them do with Titan?
What?
I want to see him start at a corner. So it's a 4x4. I want to see him start at a corner with the ATV and go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and knock back every time. So you have to get knocked from like here to here.
I'm trying to think how big is the platform? Would that even work? Like you have to leave you have to like kind of math it out and see where you're going to get knocked back each time, or
you'd effectively have to get knocked to the same corner every time because you'd have half the arena that's the furthest distance away, so you have to get knocked. But he always knocks directly away. He doesn't knock
and it's a two square space that you get knocked back.
Yeah, effectively. So what happened there is, let's say he starts in the northwest and then goes I guess south from there.
You have to go east.
Well, he could go east or south, but basically, either way, it just changes the order. Because if he goes east first, it would knock you this way first. Because he doesn't knock away from him; he knocks at like set like perpendicular, like rounds. So if he went this way first, knock you this way, then he'd knock you this way, so you'd have to make sure you always have two squares between them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And dude, there's going to be bombs on the arena while you're doing it, and then Nisi. Anyway.
You just had to mention fucking Nisi, didn't you?
Dude, I'm still banking on Alexander Ultimate in 5.1, so that's still my prediction for that. So I got to throw Nisi in there somewhere. Oh, God, there's so many things. I think the biggest prediction for me is Archean Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we? Now, I don't know. Shinryu kind of had this. Okay. Do we climb Archean Titan?
So I'm not entirely ruling that out for one major reason.
Okay.
The platforms in the back all look oddly well rendered.
Yeah. Jumps, maybe?
I don't know if it would be like Glasla jumps from Circus Tower, where it's like actual like things that send you to another platform,
or Shinryu knockbacks. Like you have to get knocked back to it.
Well, those things are really far away. I don't know if you could do it like that. Those things are really far away. Those could also just be things that replace portions of the arena. Like Eden could pull those in and fix parts of the arena with them, and then when they run out, that's it. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm not entirely ruling out needing to fight Big Titan in some way like that by using those platforms. I think he's just gonna pick him up and hit you with. I think he's gonna grab him and just literally mountain meat buster.
Mountain buster.
Yeah.
Isn't this what Zeno wanted?
Zeno wanted a lot of things.
He's finally getting his fucking wish, dude.
Dude, I mean, he's been waiting for this day for years. Zeno said he doesn't want to believe that Titan will be last because if it's not, he's going to be crushed. So he's setting his expectations low. He's like Peter LaFleur from Dodgeball. He's like, I found that if you have no expectations in life, that you're never disappointed.
And it's true.
It's an incredibly depressing way to look at the world. No, I got his back. I keep telling him it's going to be the last fight, and he's like, I sure hope you're right, man. But I'm set up. I'm set up to be disappointed. So you can only be satisfied or surprised.
Right.
Oh, man. There's so many things. Killing bombs. Oh, having multiple giant bombs, but staggering them. Like one grows and the other grows, and then, you have to rotate around while it's exploding while doing Nisi. Anyway.
Stop.
Dude, Earth and Fury is going to be like Almagest from Neo X Death. That one seems pretty obvious. Like the damage output's going to be insane. I think Weight of the Land's going to change. I think Evil Earth might not have anything past the first AoE indicator, so I might have to get used to the timing on it. Everything's going to explode more. Everything's going to hurt a lot more.
We know that.
More landslides.
More landslides.
Now, what's funny?
Landslides. How did they debate us even more with landslides?
Cross ones. So if you take a 16x16, you can do 2 from each and make an X out of it with just like the 4 in the center being connected. That cross landslide. How he transforms for it, I don't know. But there you go. Cross landslides. Oh, no indicators for like most of the AoE. Like one big thing that
okay. Yeah, no indicator for right and left landslide.
No, I don't even think for where he's jumping. When he jumps and does the massive landslide, I think he's just going to look in a direction. You're going to have to be like, all right.
You're going to have to math it out?
You will not math it out. So in Ultimate, in Ultimate, we had to do that. He quickly looks to an area before he jumps away, and you just have to see that he looked.
I haven't checked. If you are right under him on the jump, it's an automatic KO, right? When he lands.
What?
So if you're right under where he lands, it's automatic death, right? So he jumps,
yeah. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, because I've never seen.
It's bad. It's real bad. You're not talking about Geo Crush, you're talking about during Massive Landslide, right? Where he jumps and he hits like that giant cross.
No, the jump knockback.
Oh, no, that doesn't kill. I thought you were talking about massive landslide jumps. Okay.
No.
Another thing is during massive landslide, I think he's going to jump to the middle, and then only the 4 corner squares are going to be open, and they're going to all have bombs, and you're going to have to make sure you go to the one that doesn't have the bomb exploding quickly.
Or DPS it down.
Or DPS. No, because I think he's going to then do the 50-50 AoE, where it's like half the arena. I think he's also going to do rotating starboard, larboard. So he's going to do like that.
I can see that. Yeah.
So that one, there's going to be a lot of fun to be had. And yes, I'm calling them larboard and starboard landslides. It's the irony in that it's left and right, but people are still calling them larboard and starboard landslides because they've damaged us internally, our brains.
But Koji learned.
Yeah, and he also ruined us before learning. So he's done this to himself. He'll never live down larboard, starboard, ever. The good news is, for the rest of our lives, we will know larboard and starboard.
Right.
Oh, man, the more I think about it, the more I just need it right now. Oh, yeah, and then the problem with left-right is, all right, it's left, so I'll go this way. Oh, shit, he's looking at me. That's the other thing. Even if you say left and right, it's the boss's left, but it's going to say left, so you're going to be like, well, this is bad. Let me go. And I'm dead.
You got used to that in fucking Omega anyway.
Yeah, you do get used to it real quick, but it's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, it is. It's hilarious.
That's why whenever there's like a left-right, I always turn to face the direction as the boss.
That boss is facing. And
yeah, I always do it like
that's
that.
That's one way to do it. It's still one way of doing it.
In Savage, they actually changed the name of Starboard and Larboard.
I think he's going to do Magnitude 5.0 a whole lot more than just
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think, remember when I described him doing the ATV where he does this? I think he's going to, in between every two of them, I think he's going to do, a Magnitude 5.0. Yeah. So basically it would be like he starts northwest. Let's say he goes east first. That would knock you down, and then it would knock you this way.
You had to rush. You would have to rush to get to it.
Yeah, and then he'll do that. And then I think some other shit will be happening at the same time. Because here's the thing. If you don't do something in between two of those, I don't think you can feasibly dodge it.
Right.
And the big thing is, if he's knocking you this way and this way, I think you'd have to effectively stand, like, on the third square, and like the second row in the third square, because then it would knock you back here, and then it would knock you back here. Effectively, and then you'd be in the bottom right corner as far from him as possible, and then you'd have to go. I mean, that's effectively too. Yeah, it's if he did two moves at once. What if he breaks into multiples? Multiple Titan cars. I think Eden Prime's gonna split into multiple Eden Primes at one point to, like, you know how like he jumps to the corner and does the one attack. I think he's gonna jump to multiple corners and do different attacks. Nothing major, like one of them will be the hits front of the arena, but one of them will be a knockback. Like at least two of them. So one knocks you back. You're going to have to get knocked back into the position behind Eden
safe
Prime.
Spot.
Yeah, into the safe spot that's behind Eden Prime, but it's going to be from the position of a second Eden Prime. So, yeah, kind of like Sophia in a sense. Well, not even just Chaos would be a more immediate example of being knocked into the safe zone. That's the thing. Like, I love these fights because I didn't have discussions this deep about the fights last expansion. It was like, oh, I'm sure there'll be this and that, and there'll be a transformation.
And we're expecting a transformation, but we're still excited about it.
Yeah, well, it's because I don't have to fucking clear a door boss every week. Fingers crossed. You know what's funny? People have been saying he's going to transform into other vehicles. And you want to know what's funny? I actually don't think he'll transform into another vehicle. I think that we're going to see a Garuda fighter jet in the next tier, though.
A Garuda Arc?
Yeah, Garuda Cruise Chaser in a sense. A fucking Garuda fighter jet. The Garuda helicopter. What? Okay. Wow. Okay, now just for fun question here. If you could give one vehicle now to all 6 of the original Elemental Primals, give me a vehicle for each. Titan already has the ATV. Go back and give me Leviathan. His should be easy. There's only one correct answer.
Jet ski.
I was going to say submarine. But yeah, sure. Leviathan, it could also be a jet ski. That works. Okay, so there's 2 correct answers there. Speedboat. Yeah. Speedboat, jet ski, or submarine. Yo, okay, so anyone who's really good with art, we have an end screen. If you can make these things happen, I will put that there and leave it there forever. Shiva's obvious. I don't think anyone's motorcycles.
Yeah, we're gonna get the motorcycle.
And I think actually it's even more likely than people think, because we have Isael and Shiva, effectively 2 of the same person.
Yeah. So you think we're gonna get Nyx?
Yeah.
Nyx.
Yeah. I 100% think it's gonna happen. For me, you could do the Garuda copter or the Garuda fighter jet.
Right.
So that's 4 of them. So what about Ifrit and Ramu?
Ramu's the toughest one, though.
I think so.
What could he be? I mean, what, a fucking cloud? No.
I don't think. Oh, somebody. Don't look at the chat, but some people come up with some pretty good ones. I don't like wheelchair.
Electric wheelchair.
Not a scooter, a wheelchair.
Terrible.
I mean, to be fair, if he's really difficult in the wheelchair, it could be because you can't stand up, white chick style.
Oh my god. Ramu gets a Tesla. Y'all are fucking.
You get the Tesla Model X.
Oh man!
God damn it! I hate
and what? And
segue.
like,
You guys are just taking anything powered by electricity. Blimp is the only one I like there.
I was gonna say for what would you say for Ifrit? Because a motorcycle made sense for Ifrit.
Motorcycle makes sense for Ifrit. Yeah.
What else? A hot rod.
Did I hope Titan's ATV is an actual, like he turns it into an actual tank with a cannon. It fires tank busters at the tanks between it. Oh man. Ifrit could be a tank too.
I say a hot rod for Ifrit.
No, you want, all right. Oh, see, I get it. Because I get it. That's smart.
Yeah.
All right. Ifrit just shows up and he's like, I don't know why all of you are fucking vehicles. Why? I don't know what a vehicle is. What are that? How did you know that? How do we even know what an ATV is? That doesn't exist. But somehow we managed to, with our brains, turn him into one. Right. I don't think the warrior was like, oh shit, dude, I saw this ATV on the back of a fucking pickup on the fucking 95. I sure affiliate that with Titan. Warrior of Light's like, I saw this YouTube video about an ATV. That deals with Earth, I suppose. Oh, you know, I kind of like that. Ramu, instead of turning into a vehicle, he rides a chariot. I don't know why. It just fits him. I think it's because he's majestic.
It fits. If anything, they wouldn't have to model it that bad. I mean, we already have, what's his face? Yeah. Yep.
Just rides his beard. I have a feeling we're going to fight Ramu on his own beard.
I was about to say that too. I just didn't want to, but like
that's like an obvious one though. Come on, everyone would have thought you're gonna fight Ramu because they're gonna ask, "What do you remember the most about Ramu?" That glorious beard. That's gonna be the fucking text option. We all can all see it coming. Wow, that's really derailed from talking about Titan, huh? But at the same time, it's a wonderful conversation. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I think we kind of started to touch upon it last week about what we think the future Eden bosses will be with Ethys. But I'm going to present that question to you again, but slightly different. Do you think we see anything but the original 6 primals? I mean, we had mentioned Bahamut last week, but do you think that when we go to deal with beings of ether, I remember Ardbert, I think in particular, mentions things about how like some primals were mixed element. Not Ardbert. Somebody else in Shadowbringers, might even be Yordion J, mentions mixed ethers for certain primals. Like I think Ravana in particular is the one that's mentioned, but Unukalhai. Is it really Unukalhai? I don't remember. Then it's not even from this expansion. It's from the book from like way like long ago. Might be. Yeah, might be. Okay. Take that. Do you think we see any primals from other eras then that this whole original 6 thing is not going to pan out?
I think they stick with the original 6. But we are assuming that the next year we're getting the other 4.
I'm assuming that. You don't have to throw your hat in. That's my assumption.
No, it's a safe assumption. But it's a safe assumption, but I don't believe it. Because I think they throw in two other bosses that aren't primals. You know, just kind of shake it up a little bit. Like we deal with the primals, we imagine the primals, but there's something that derails it, like in the Eden normal story that we had to take care of. So 2 next tier, 2 the tier after that.
I'm still going with all 4 next because I really think the entire final tier. Here's the thing. I don't want to do 2 and then go completely to do fuck all something else and then do 2 again.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing is I don't want to have to do 2 in the final. I can understand doing one of them, like a 3-in-1 would make more sense to me. Like I could totally see doing like Garuda, Ifrit, and Ramu, and then doing other boss as 8th boss, and then covering the last one, kind of like how Chaos is the last boss of the tournament that Omega's holding, and then Midgardsormr, Omega himself, and then MNF and God Omega are like basically bonus rounds or final or the world champ, of the tournament. You don't like Hercule? You don't like Mr. Satan? Ha 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 ha. You don't like him? All right.
He's
understandable. Understandable. Okay. Yeah. Omega's just Mr. Satan, but like on steroids. All right. Like if he was actually a world champion. Okay, so you're going with the. So are you sticking with the 4-0, or are you going with 2-2, 3-1?
2-2.
I'm going 4-0. I'll settle for 3-1. I think we're going 4-0 next year.
We'll have something else to deal with.
I don't doubt that, but I feel like we'll deal with it in the cutscenes, and it'll be like, we'll keep them busy. You have a job to finish, and then in the last tier we're going to ult. Like I don't want to fucking leave like whatever the 9th fight is, and then go go to like this like crazy final chapter kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Okay, Sly. With that, I think we've covered the most important things for this week.
Yeah, we have.
Do you have anything you'd like to add before we wrap up the show?
No, just everyone enjoy Savage. Don't. I get the feeling. I get a feeling like, especially for maybe, I don't know, Eden Prime.
Who will be the first boss?
Eden Prime may suffer a little bit of outroidism again.
No, don't say that. Don't say alt-roidism. What did I say earlier in the show? What did I tell me what I said, Sly? Don't ever compare something to...
Don't compare something to alt-roid, even though it's... Don't get jaded by that, though, if it happens. Just saying.
All right.
Temporary expectations. That's all I'm asking.
All right. I don't know what my chat's talking about, quote, important news. Is it FF logs reach Warcraft logs levels of traffic? I fucking knew it. It's the only thing Hammer would bring up in my chat. I'm like, okay, what's the only thing Hammer would tell me is important news? Oh, it's FF logs has a post on Reddit. I'm ready to fucking bet it's that. All right. I fucking guessed it before he even fucking said it. I knew it. Cool. All right. Anyway, FF logs has reached Warcraft logs levels of traffic. Okay. That's news. That we're done. All right. So anyway, that's going to be a wrap for this week's show, Sly. It went on a little longer than we thought, but I mean, Savage.
And we thought it, yeah, but we're just excited.
Savage.
Big
deal. So first up, show is not on Tuesday next week. Friday.
That works.
Well, there's no way we could do two. Savage comes out on Tuesday. Even if I'm pugging it, I won't want to do State of the Realm on Tuesday. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yes. Other news. What's the other news? I feel like there was something else. No, I think it's just announcing the new patrons. It's all mixing it up. I think, yeah, because I got to shout out the new patrons and, of course, our patrons of darkness. Yeah, Sly has 3 houses to play soon. Yeah, he does. He sure does. And he hasn't picked a house yet. I had this discussion with him earlier. I also had the discussion part where I don't care because I'm not playing. So I don't fucking know the difference. So, yeah. I don't have to make that decision. But thanks everyone for tuning in. First day of the realm this week. We made a show out of just talking random shit about Savage because that's really all anyone wants to talk about.
Because we have imaginations.
Yeah, really, that's all anyone wanted to talk about a week before Savage was Savage. And then next week, they'll want to talk about Savage. And the week after that, they'll still want to talk about Savage. And then we'll be getting close to fucking probably another live letter at that point. Because the Rising event is in like a month. So we know they're not doing a 14-hour broadcast this year. Yeah, they said they're not doing one because it's way too busy. But I assume a live letter at the very least. Just, the normal length live letter at that time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no inspection yet.
You made it. I'm the one who had to go to my door. You didn't have to go anywhere.
You know what would be fucking funny? They technically have the keys. I left for 5 minutes. What if they came in and inspected and left? It's totally possible. No one's here. Looks good. See ya. Fucking nerd. All right. I'm sure my landlord would call me a fucking nerd. Fully believe it. All right. So with that, let's shout out our patrons real quick. Just the new ones. We've had the patron list on the side, thanking all the people all the time. You could PogChamp for them as much as you want. Because that list... Please. Yes, please. That list has been going the whole time. Also pointing the wrong way because my camera's flipped. So now I'm pointing the correct way. So thank you to all those people. We also had a few. We had a premium sponsor. Let me get the exact name read. It's been going on the thing. Xanort Nix of Behemoth. Hey, there you go. You know that server.
Hey, let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. We also had Gilly, who is a new elite sponsor. And I think that's all the additions from last week, because I think I did mention Margaret Snow of Midgardstormer as a new elite last week. If not, I'm terribly sorry. Oh, no, that actually happened, I think, after the show. And we had Ethan as well, who's another elite. And that's all of them, if I'm not mistaken. We also had Wolfblood Omega as well as another new patron. So thank you to our new patrons who meet the $5, $10, $25 tiers on Patreon. And then, of course, we have our patrons of darkness, who everyone here knows very well, who I haven't gotten new images for a little bit, but everyone's busy playing Shadowbringers. So there's really no surprise there. That's Khuja Cross on Jenova right there. And then because he uses ultra-wide pictures, I then have to very awkwardly do that for the other one, who's our boy Kurenai, who's hanging out with Ethys's fucking ugly mug of a character. So thank you. I'm sorry. He is really ugly, though. Ethys's character is hideous. That's coming from a Lalafell. Or a Dwarf, depending on how you look at it. So thank you to our patrons of darkness and to everyone supporting over on Patreon.
Thank you so much.
Reminder again, go enter the Steelseries Giveaway, everybody. And starting probably next... Aloha, it's just in the sun. Starting next week, Square Enix did send over a bunch of goodies. Very similar. If you guys have been watching Mog Talk, he's been doing some giveaways. I did receive several of the same types of things. So we will be doing extra giveaways for a lot of that stuff over the next however many weeks it takes to give it away. So we will be having extra giveaways starting again next week. And of course, Steelseries giveaways will still be.
You were smart. You were very smart about that, because I shipping was a nightmare for that.
I mean, shipping's still going to be a nightmare, but I'm assuming.
I mean, at least you're piecemeal, like you're doing it individually instead of like, okay, all in one day and then ship them all in one day and in like an hour at the yeah. We're not. Also, it's just funner to spread it out. Yeah. You smart.
Am I loyal?
Yeah, you loyal too.
All right.
I appreciate that.
And with that, we can wrap things up. Sly, why don't you tell them where they can find you at?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Slyh, aka Greyfox, Instagram, Slyh, aka Greyfox, Twitter at Slythefox, youtube.com/The Velvet Room. 3 houses on Friday. And then Savage on Tuesday. Yeah. Still haven't picked the house. Don't ask. I won't pick one until Friday. So I turn on the game and start. So I don't know. We'll see. Mike, where can they find you?
You can find me, Mr. Happy127, on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, all in the same place. I'm going to be doing Savage, and I've been uploading a lot of really basic new player advice videos last week, like don't make Bunshin macros on Ninja that say Shadow Clone Jutsu, because we're all going to laugh at you and we're going to kick you from the party because you're going to press it really often. And you're going to be like me and you press the button a million times. It's like, hey, it's not working. You press it like 6 times and I have to read it 6 times. And then I really want to punch you in the face. But you know what? At the same time, at least you know you used it, right? That's fine. Then trick attack is like, you'll never see this coming. And I'm like, I don't need to know that you trick attack anymore. I don't even want you to be a trick attack ninja anymore. I'd rather you try to go sneak attack. You don't even have that skill anymore. But at least you won't say that, oh, I'm sneaky. And be like, all right, now I'm booting you from the group because I can't take this anymore. Okay. Anyway. So yeah,
that's our show. Well, jeez.
I mean, that's literally the thumbnail for the macro. It's that, and I'm like, what's the thing I hate most in macros? Let me put that in the thumbnail.
You know what would be a really good macro?
Is it?
But fail will had you type out every time.
Yeah, but I told you need to make that a macro, but instead of fail ul, you change the L to an I, so people try to copy.
No. Just put that in any macro.
No, don't put that in any macro. Don't put that in, literally, don't put that in any macro.
Yeah.
Someone make that smile.
Do it.
Don't do it. Nobody wants you to do this. Okay?
Fucking do it.
Don't fucking do it. Don't, here's the thing, do it, but just do the macro that says it, but change the L to an I, and then go stand where the quest is. So people see you typing it and then they copy paste it, but you have the I instead of the L.
No.
So macro when they copy paste, like, why isn't it working?
Macro it to a fucking ability and then use that ability. Like, spam that shit in raids. Do it. Fucking do it.
You know what you also shouldn't do? Don't take Bloodfest on Gunbreaker and say, what is Bloodfest 2? It allows me to draw 2 cartridges. Don't do that either. Don't Yu-Gi-Oh meme Bloodfest. I promise. No one will think it's a brilliant idea. All right? Nobody at all. All right, I'm going to end the show now before we give people too many bad ideas, because the point of that video was do's and don'ts. And that's a bunch of don'ts right there. So I'm going to end this show right now. See, we got a whole outro screen and that. Yeah, see, so if you draw like the Garuda and the Titan as the I'm going to put that here. All right, this is where that's going to go. All right, it's going to stay there forever. All right. We good? We good. Hey, Balfrey. On that note, Sly, you enjoy 3 houses, and we'll see all of you next week to first impressions on Savage, and expect the next like 2 or 3 shows to be about Savage or whatever the fuck else is happening. So have a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.
See you next Friday.